major overnight fire at the prestigious Four Seasons Resort on Nevis resulted in the destruction of a section of the property, according to Fire and Rescue Services on Nevis. Deputy Fire Chief Timothy Martin confirmed that the fire resulted in the complete destruction of one of the buildings on the grounds of the resort. He also indicated to SK Newsline that an investigation into the cause of the fire is on the way.
We are back at Four Seasons and we are doing our slight investigation. So there is nothing much I could say at this point in time. I'm not even certain of the exact timing, but it may have been sometime last night after 8, and we responded to a fire at Four Seasons. The faux shop and the gym, the athletic gym, is destroyed by fire. The main hotel has not been affected. It's just the faux shop and the gym. The post shop and the gym was housed in the same building.
Premier Mark Brantley posted a message on the NIA's Facebook page in which he stated in part, quote, "I record my congratulations to our brave firefighters and to all who assisted in bringing this fire under control. I extend our heartfelt sympathies to the owners, management and staff at the resort and pledge the government's full support and partnership in returning our landmark hotel to its former glory as quickly as possible. I also record my deep appreciation to both Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew and Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, both of whom have been in close contact with me during this ordeal," end quote. In an official statement issued Wednesday morning, Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew stated in part, quote, "Earlier I spoke with the Premier of Nevis, Honorable Mark Brantley, and Mr. Billy Kutu, the General Manager of Four Seasons, and extended the full support and solidarity of the people and government of St. Kitts and Nevis. I am relieved to inform you that there has been no loss of life in this incident, and for that we can be grateful. The safety and well-being of the people at the resort are most important, and I am heartened to hear that everyone is safe." In a conversation with Mr. Kutu, he displayed the resilience that the Four Seasons Resort is known for. He assured me that they will rebound and continue to be a beacon of luxury and hospitality in Nevis, end quote. Prime Minister Drew visited Four Seasons earlier today, where incidentally a conference of the Caribbean Tourism Organization was taking place. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline. For the first time, air carrier JetBlue will commence scheduled flights into St. Kitts and Nevis with a non-stop flight from JFK Airport, New York, into the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport, starting on Thursday, 2nd November 2023. The inaugural flight will commence year-round service 3 times per week using the airline's Airbus 320 aircraft. Officials from the Ministry of Tourism and the Tourism Authority, along with SCASPA representatives, will welcome the start of the service with a brief ceremony at the airport. Recently, Minister of Tourism Marsha Henderson provided an update on services coming out of the New York and Toronto, Canada areas as she reported on overseas promotional engagements.
These activities are critical to the support of our increased airlift. As the Minister of Tourism, I am immensely proud to see the fruits of such marketing initiatives, particularly through the increased potential in airlift that we are currently experiencing. 1, I'm excited that the week ahead, with the commencement of JetBlue service and the return of our seasonal service from other legacy carriers. On Thursday, November 2nd, we will welcome the inaugural JetBlue flight from JFK, New York. This momentous occasion will be further bolstered by JetBlue's commitment to offering non-stop flights on Sundays, on Tuesdays, and Thursdays year-round. The destination now has year-round service from the Northeast, that's in the US, and in addition, our round-trip flights from Miami. Additionally, we are immensely proud to report that Air Canada has increased capacity to the destination by 66%.
The minister also indicated that the airlift out of Toronto will involve the airline's use of a larger aircraft. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
It's finally here, the album launch of the debut gospel album of St. Kitts and Nevis artist Sari the DVN. After postponing the original launch date from August, the launch will now take place this Sunday, November 5th at 7 p.m. at the Halal Praise Worship Tabernacle in Needsmos. Sari the DVN shares more about Sunday's launch.
We're looking forward to hear from Born Again, Josie, Evie, M1. I know Born Again is international rap sensation from Jamaica, so we can everybody to come out, and the Roots Band, for sure. We're inviting everybody to come out, and don't forget that there will be no charge at the gate. There's a free entry. All you have to do is come and support in getting your USB Jive album, custom made.
The album, Low City, The Place Where God Meets People, features a wide cross-section of gospel subgenres, including Afrobeats and reggae.
It's a very diverse album, very colorful, just like a rainbow, have different colors. You have dancehall on it, Sari Deviant, you have the dancehall, you have, yes, for sure, reggae, you have the pop, and you have the R&B, you have even something near to rock. Different style of genre is on it, especially dancehall. Because when you talk about dancehall, people say, "Oh, you got to dancehall." And once I used to hide away from doing even reggae. So that's why in the early part of Sari, when I was using the previous name Survivor and Gifted before I rebranded to Sari, you're scared of doing reggae because of how they would talk. You got to reggae, but then. What is wrong with the genre? It's a beat, and it is pure. It's a pure beat. It's what you put on the beat that defile the beat. So people can expect different style of music. Right now, we actually touch almost every genre of music.
Admission is free, and albums will be on sale on customized USB devices. CDs will eventually be available for those who prefer that format. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. What Start Bada Morning? Our novel, written by Caditian author Carol Mitchell, was launched in St. Kitts on the weekend at the Shadwell Great House. Mrs. Mitchell spoke to SK Newsline about the book.
What Started About a Morning is a novel about a woman named Amaya, and she has had this really upheaval in her life when she was 18, but now when the novel starts, she's in her 40s, and she's buried the memories of that upheaval. And something happens really early in the first chapter of the novel. She meets someone who triggers the unraveling of the memories, and then it takes us back through the story until at the end you find out what the event was that she experienced, that she had to bury because it was just so traumatic for her. And one of the things that the novel talks about is the whole idea that in the Caribbean we tend to bury trauma and not to just keep it moving. What are you worried about that for? And the reality is that without actually dealing with that you can't move forward. So that's where the title kind of comes from.
Mitchell has written a few children's books and made the transition to full-length novel for adult readers. She explained how she made this transition.
It was really very interesting. So I had been writing a lot of short stories for adults along the way. So the more difficult transition was from the short story to the novel form. Writing for children is very different from writing it for adults, and I think those two experiences live in different parts of my head. But I enjoy them both. It was writing for children is fun, but it's difficult. You have to really be very intentional about how you're expressing things and what experiences you're showing, and because children are discerning readers, they can spot if you don't know what you're doing. But for adults, of course, it's the same, but there's a little bit more. I could put a little bit more of my own experiences as well as an adult into the book, so that was interesting and fun also.
The book officially launched on September 19th, Independence Day, and she plans to do a number of events to promote it across the Caribbean and internationally.
But beyond this, I'm going to be, doing more events in the U.S. I'm going to be doing events in Trinidad and the U.S. Virgin Islands. I have those sorted out right now, and I'm working to get others. So I'm open to travel, and I'm open to doing other events as well. And I really want to kind of spread the word about this book through the Caribbean and beyond.
And where can persons get a copy of the book?
What Started About a Morning is available at Harper's Bookstore. It's also at Bougainvillea Gifts, which is at the Shadwell Great House, and on any of your online places where you purchase book, Amazon, Books A Million, bookstore.org, the Barnes and Nobles, the works. It's there.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
Ah! What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
Often during natural disasters, water and power supplies are the first to go. In fact, our newsroom has received calls with such complaints. Minister with responsibility for water, Matthew Samuda, says the National Water Commission, NWC, expects some pipe breakage, particularly to the older ones. However, NWC's acting corporate public relations manager, Delano Williams, says no major system damages exist right now.
Our team has been dispatched, however, to continue an assessment or to commence an assessment of all our systems, our pipeline network, our infrastructure, pumps as well, and to determine if there is any kind of damage that has not yet manifested itself. Yes, they are vulnerable, but there are also some of the ones that in their construction, a lot of steps would have been taken. The determining factors would be how close they are, the size of the earthquake, and also the age of that infrastructure.
Mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams, confirms that the municipality has not received any reports of major damage. However, he adds they have commenced removing the large boulders from some roadways.
There are major boulders, large boulders on the Dallas Main Road and at Cane River Road. The Dallas Main Road, we were able to make do some clearing so that to allow people from yesterday, motorists to move along that roadway. We had requested Mines and Geology to come in and to do an inspection and assessment of the area. I am aware that they would have gone and have done some early assessment, but there are still some concerns.
Mayor Williams is also pleading with residents to desist from manually clearing roadways. Instead, he says they should wait on the relevant authorities to remove the debris. Up to news time, we did not get any updates from the National Works Agency. Ronaldo Adams, CVM News.
The two-day forum, which was held under the theme Creating a Shared Prosperous Future and funded by the Government of Ghana and African Import-Export Bank, Afrexim Bank, came to an end on Tuesday. The Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum Active, which saw a number of delegates from different corners of the globe congregating at the Marriott Hotel Georgetown, was a hub for fruitful discussions aimed at propelling the growth and economic expansion of both African and Caribbean countries. Dr. Richard Blair, advisor of CARICOM Agri-Food System to the Ministry of Agriculture, spoke to the benefits of a partnership between Ghana and Africa with a focus on food security.
Ghana has a tradition in agriculture, Africa as well, and there can be a lot of things that we can learn from them, some of the things that they have started before us, and we can exchange as well some of the things that we do. We are very adept in many respects in cultivation of rice.
Ambassador Dr. June Sumer, who serves on the United Nations Permanent Forum for People of African Descent and former past Secretary General of the Association of Caribbean States, said she sees the value of CARICOM states coming together to engage with Africa.
I think that at this point in our development, South-South cooperation is vital for us moving along and progressing. And I believe that an engagement with Africa will be excellent for the Caribbean because the focus is the right one. The focus is on the people.
Meanwhile, Dr. Patrick Antoine, Chief Executive Officer and Technical Director of the Caribbean Private Sector Organization, highlighted the role of the private sector in such a monumental collaboration.
How do we get the private sector to do more than they've been doing? And certainly for us, the private sector has to continue to be that force that will take the investment decisions in the boardroom or as a sort of sole trader, as a small player, as a micro producer.
Representative of Call Associate Consultancy Limited in Jamaica and the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean, Dr. Bevan Morris, stressed the importance of education at a time when CARICOM and Africa have brokered their relationship.
In the past, we have looked to the north. We wanted to be with the North American universities or the European universities whose agenda may not satisfy the needs of our people. But South-to-South cooperation means that a top university in Nigeria can interface with a top university in the Caribbean and do so much better.
Renata Burnett reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Israel has been expanding also its ground assault deep into Gaza on several fronts, with at least 15 of its soldiers having been killed in the last 24 hours, as we've reported. Satellite images and reports from the ground show Israeli troops invading the territory from 3 locations in the north and east. Israeli tanks have been seen south of Gaza City on the main Saladin road linking the north with the south. Israeli media say the military is trying to reach al-Rashid Street along the coast. If it succeeds, the Gaza Strip will be effectively cut in half. Well, let's discuss these military moves with Ejaz Haider, who's a foreign affairs and military analyst, joining us from Lahore in Pakistan. Thank you very much for your time. So let me ask you first about this latest attack on Jabalia refugee camp, another one on this camp. Israel on Tuesday said that a top Hamas commander was killed in the airstrikes on Tuesday. We've heard time and time about Israel having the most sophisticated militaries in the world. Why is one of the most sophisticated militaries in the world, with all its precision weapons, why is it that it can't kill one top Hamas commander, which is its stated military objective, without killing 100 civilians?
Thank you for having me. Urban combat is very tricky. In fact, Hamas actually rejected the claim that they had killed one of their leaders. And so, Israel has constantly been saying that Hamas uses civilians as a shield. But the second attack basically makes no sense because Israel has made no claim about why it did it. And it seems to be part of this, the unfolding scenario that we've been witnessing, unfortunately and very tragically, since October 8th, following the Hamas military operation against Israel, which is about collective punishment. I've been constantly watching your channel. A number of analysts and international law experts have been very clear about the fact that all these actions constitute war crimes. But going in is where Israel is gradually losing its asymmetric advantage over
When you
Hamas.
say going in, you mean the ground offensive, the ground incursion.
The ground offensive.
Yeah.
The ground incursion, because militarily, technologically, obviously, the IDF is one of the strongest militaries in the Middle East and also in the world. And Hamas doesn't have air force. Hamas cannot counter that. But once you go on the ground, the asymmetric advantage that Israel has with reference to its Iron Dome system or its air force or the kind of TNT that it has been dropping on Gaza, according to their own estimates, 11,000 bombs. I mean, sitting here, I cannot even imagine the kind of TNT that they've dropped there.
Right.
But once you go in, you lose that asymmetric advantage because now you're going to go face to face, man to man, street to street, rubble to rubble, destroyed buildings to destroyed buildings.
Right. Well, let me just pick up on that, because as you say, they have the air power to support this ground incursion, and we've seen it. We've seen it with the constant airstrikes, the constant bombing as the Israeli troops are going in. And yet, in the last 24 hours or so, we've heard of 15 Israeli soldiers killed. What does that tell you about this ground incursion and the type of resistance Hamas is putting up? What is Hamas doing to counter this, in your view?
Right. As I said, urban combat is tricky. I mean, we can go back in history, Stalingrad, Grozny, Mosul, Fallujah. You can bomb the city, but ironically, when you bomb a city, you create a lot of rubble, half destroyed buildings, and then you go in. And tanks and armored fighting vehicles essentially, after a while, become fairly useless, because unless you've got to get the dozers and everything, you've got to clear the rubble that you created in the first place, and you need to have foot infantry. Even if you go in with mechanized infantry, at some point people have to get down, and that is where their initial advantage is essentially neutralized, because the adversary that you're facing is in a place where it knows the terrain like the back of his hand. And, I haven't been to Gaza, but from what I've been, reading and watching over the last many, many years about the tunnels and the previous conflicts, that is where Hamas has an advantage. So once the Israelis go in on foot, and as I said previously, where they have to face off, through infantry weapons, and infantry weapons, frankly, even in 21st century, are essentially the same as they were in the 20th century. You've got assault rifles, you've got sidearms, you've got shoulder-fired rocket-propelled grenade launchers. Hamas now also uses innovatively these normally commercially available drones that they're using as direct attack munitions. We've seen that on October 7th. They've also said that they've developed these shoulder-fired rockets, which can take out the Makawas and the armored fighting vehicles. So yes, it will now get down to the numbers and how far Hamas can sustain this through ammunition, food, water, the rest of it, and whatever they've stored for a protracted conflict.
Very interesting to hear your thoughts about this, and thank you for your insight. Ejaz Haider, a foreign affairs and military analyst, joining us there from Lahore in Pakistan.
It hurts us to our core. And y'all don't understand that. Y'all don't live in our skin.
Tonight, Democratic lawmakers in Texas outraged as the state's Republican legislators pushed through a controversial border security agenda with a set of new bills tackling illegal immigration.
My community is being attacked.
Houston Democrat Representative Armando Wally voicing his frustration over House Bill 4, which makes it a state crime to enter the U.S. illegally and allows local police in Texas to arrest undocumented individuals and take them to a port of entry, forcing them into Mexico.
Y'all don't understand that y'all do hurts our community.
The bill, advancing to the Republican majority Senate, now one step closer to becoming a law. Some critics arguing the move puts U.S. citizens at risk of unintended arrests based on racial profiling.
It's assuming that individuals are from Mexico. That's absolutely ignorant, because we know we have immigrants from all over the world.
But Republicans say it's necessary action as the number of migrants crossing the southern border hits new records. This year, the Department of Homeland Security reporting there's already been nearly 2.5 million encounters at the U.S.-Mexico land border.
It's the federal government's responsibility to secure our southern border, and they've refused to do that. So it's left for us to deal with, and that's what we're going to do.
Republican state legislators also passing a bill that expands state human smuggling laws by imposing a 10-year mandatory sentence in most cases. Additionally, another bill would allocate $1.5 billion to build new sections of a border wall. If signed into law, these bills would be the latest political drama between Texas and President Biden. On Tuesday, the Lone Star State sued the Biden administration, trying to stop federal agents from cutting razor wire barriers at the border, which a state trooper said in a leaked email was injuring immigrants attempting to cross the Rio Grande. This as Governor Abbott continues busing thousands of migrants to cities like Chicago and New York. A New York City spokesperson confirming to NBC News a free one-way plane ticket out of the city is now being offered to migrants hoping to free up space in an overwhelmed shelter system.
It's not if people will be sleeping on the streets, it's when.
And Guad Venegas joins us now from the Telemundo studios in Miami. Guad, going back to Texas, what's Governor Abbott saying about those controversial bills?
Well, Gabe, Governor Abbott called for a special session, and that's the session in which the legislators approved of that bill. So, of course, he also shared a statement saying they intended, the state, to pass laws that would mirror federal immigration laws because he says the Biden administration isn't doing their job. So this is part of the Republican agenda, part of Greg Abbott's agenda. So, of course, once this gets through the Senate and both the House, it is expected that he will sign the law. But then the question is, Gabe, will this then stand up in court if the Biden administration decides to sue the state of Texas? Because, as we know, immigration laws are supposed to be enforced by the federal government and not by the states.
Cricket West Indies announced that Barbados Pride all-rounder Raymond Reifer has been suspended from bowling his slower balls and cutters in all cricket matches until his action on these deliveries are cleared. Should Reifer use these deliveries in a match, CWI reserves the right to suspend him from bowling altogether. Reifer, Barbados Pride's left-arm seamer, was reported by the match officials during the CG United Super 50 Cup match between Barbados and Windward Islands Volcanoes on the 25th of October at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. In accordance with the procedure for suspected illegal bowling actions, the match footage was sent to Loughborough University for an opinion report. The report was determined that an illegal action was used to bowl the cutters and slower balls. The Barbados Pride are currently fourth in the table with 24 points after their 4 matches, having won 2 and lost 1, with 1 no result due to rain.